Thank you for visiting my YouTube channel to get your daily Bible verse and Bible chapter. I hope you have a great day and come back each and every day for a new verse and a new chapter. Thank you and God bless. 1 Kings 15. Abijam began to rule over Judah in the 18th year of Jeroboam's reign in Israel. He reigned in Jerusalem 3 years. His mother, Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom, he committed the same sins his father before him, and he was not faithful to the Lord God, as his ancestor David had been. But for David's sake, the Lord his God allowed his descendants to continue ruling, shining like a lamp. And he gave Abijam a son to rule after him in Jerusalem. For David had done what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, and obeyed the Lord's commandments throughout his life, except in the affair concerning Uriah the Hittite. There was a war between Abijam and Jeroboam throughout Abijam's reign. The rest of the events of Abijam's reign and everything he did are recorded in the book of history of the kings of Judah. There was constant war between Abijam and Jeroboam. When Abijam died, he was buried in the city of David. Then his son Asa became the next king. Asa ruled in Judah. Asa began to rule over Judah in the 20th year of Jeroboam's reign in Israel. He reigned in Jerusalem 41 years. His grandmother was Maacah, the granddaughter of Absalom. Asa did what was pleasing in the Lord's sight, as his ancestor David had done. He banished the male and female shrines, prostitutes of the land, and got rid of all the idols his ancestors have made. He even disposed his grandmother, Maacah, from her position as queen mother, because she had made an obscene ash pole. He cut down her obscene pole and burned it in the Kidron Valley. Although the pagan shrines were not removed, Asa's heart remained completely faithful to the Lord throughout his life. He brought into the temple of the Lord the silver and gold and the various items that he and his father had decorated. There was a constant war between King Asa of Judah and King Baasha of Israel. King Baasha invaded Judah and forfeited Ramah in order to prevent anyone from entering or leaving King Asa's territory in Judah. Asa responded by removing all silver and gold that was left in the territories of the treasuries of the temple of the Lord and the royal palace. He sent it with some of his officials to Ben, son of Chabian, son of Hezion, king of Aram, who was ruling in Damascus, along with this message: let there be a treaty between you and me, like the one between your father and my father. See, I am sending you a gift of silver and gold. Break your treaty with King Baasha of Israel, so that he will leave me alone. Ben agreed to King Asa's request and sent the commanders of his army to attack the towns of Israel. They conquered the towns of Lejon, Dan, Abel, and all Kenneth, and all the land of Naphtali. As soon as Baasha of Israel heard what was happening, he abandoned his project of fortifying Ramah and withdrew from Tirzan. Then King Asa sent an order throughout Judah requiring that everyone without exception help carry away the building stones and timbers that Baasha had been using to fortify Ramah. Asa used these materials to fortify the town of Geba in Benjamin, in the town of Mizpah. The rest of the events of Asa's reign, the extent of his power, everything he did, and the names of the cities he built are recorded in the book of histories of the king of Judah. In his old age, his feet became diseased. When Asa died, he was buried with his ancestor in the city of David. Then Jehoshaphat, Asa's son, became the next king. Naboth rules in Israel. Naboth, the son of Jeroboam, began to rule over Israel in the second year of King Asa's reign in Judah. He reigned in Israel 2 years, but he did what was evil in the Lord's sight, followed the example of his father, continuing the sins of Jeroboam had led Israel to commit. Then Abijam, son of Elijah, from the tribe of Issachar, plotted against Naboth and assassinated him while he and the Israelite army were lying in siege to the Philistine town Gibbethon. Baasha killed Naboth in the 3rd year of King Asa's reign in Judah, and he became the next king of Israel. He immediately slaughtered all the descendants of King Jeroboam, so that not one of the royal family was left, just as the Lord promised, considering Jeroboam by the prophet Elijah from Shiloh. There was none, because Jeroboam had provoked the anger of the Lord, the God of Israel, by the sins he had committed and the sins he had led Israel to commit. The rest of the events of Nahab and reign and everything he did are recorded in the book of history of the kings of Israel. Baasha rules in Israel. There was constant war between King Asa of Judah and King Baasha of Israel. Baasha, son of Elijah, began to rule all over Israel in the 3rd year of King Asa's reign in Judah. Baasha resigned in Tirzah 24 years, but he did what was evil in the Lord's sight and followed the example of Jeroboam, continuing the sins of that Jeroboam led Israel to commit. Matthew 7:12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. Matthew 7:12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is the essence of all that is taught in the law and the prophets. One of my favorite verses is Philippians 4:13. And it says, I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. If you have your own favorite verse, please put that down below and let me know what it is. Again, today's verse is Matthew 7:12. Do to others whatever you would like them to do to you. This is the essence of all that is taught in the law and in the prophets. Always remember to smile, because you never know what a smile can do for someone's day. Thank you and God bless. Thank you for watching today's video. Please remember to like, comment, and subscribe so you can remember to watch each and every day's video. Thank you for the ones that have been with me from the beginning. Please help me expand my ministry. Thank you and God bless.